What is it about your story that has made you such a ardent advocate for women and so opposed to this trad wife movement?
Can I start this with an ask, Billie? You can't judge any part of my story because I know that you lived a different life and there may be things that you're like, what?
I
So no
promise I won't
judgment.
judge you.
I think that the big thing about my story, first of all, what I lived is very relatable to a lot of women, especially if you're in Gilbert Mesa, Utah. When I talk to people from maybe like Philadelphia, Chicago, or other countries, they haven't normally had the same experiences that I had. But I was raised very traditional. So that whole trad wife term is traditional wife, traditional families, traditional moms and dads, and really kind of like living out the embodiment of the Norman Rockwell picture with everyone sitting down together at the beautiful dining table and grandma at one end and the Thanksgiving turkey. That was my life path. A lot of women relate to that. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people relate to that. A lot of people think that that's like the ideal family. And I did everything, all of my decisions were based on making that lifestyle come true, thinking that it was sustainable, thinking that it was safe, thinking that there was no possibility that that could possibly go wrong. If I was building a family and working on my relationship and little picket fence and everything, what could go wrong in that? It's foolproof. That's the safest lifestyle to live. And that's very relatable for so many people. But I didn't understand the ways that that could go wrong. And I was so clueless even about people getting divorced. I had such a sheltered life that when my marriage finally fell apart and I was 44 years old and I knew that I had to get divorced, I didn't even have friends who had really been through divorces. And I had to find somebody that I had known when I was 20 on Facebook because I knew that he had divorced and remarried and reach out and be like, what's it like to get divorced? Like, were you lonely? Like, how do I file for divorce? I know that you're remarried. Is that weird for your kids? I literally didn't have any example in my life of people who'd been through that. And I was completely clueless. So I made decisions that I just didn't have anyone telling me those may not be the healthiest decisions for you. Things
So,
like not finishing college or ever having a job after age 19.
and I've listened to enough of your stuff to know that it's not that you just bought into this, you felt like you were commanded by your faith, religiously told, if you have faith, if you love God, if you want to get to heaven, this is what you must do. So it's a little bit more than just, I thought this was the way to do it. It's a little bit more pressure than just that.
I'm so glad that you said it like that. In a lot of ways, I didn't feel like it was a good idea. From the time that I was a young girl, I actually had career goals, I had aspirations. I wanted to build my own life and my own future. I remember, Billie, in kindergarten, we had to do this little class project. They had like this career week and they had like some moms and dads come in and like the dad who was a police officer and a mom who was an artist. That was really cool. And all these people came in. And then at the end, we had to write this little teeny kindergarten letter. We could barely even write about what we wanted to be when we grew up. My dad at the time was an anchorman on the news and he was really into politics. I think that Ronald Reagan was the president when I was in kindergarten. And I wrote on my little thing, I want to be the president when I grow up. I'm going to go into politics. And I brought that paper home and I had a little picture of myself being the president and showed it to my parents. And my mom like got teared up and she was like, Jenny, don't you want to be a mommy? That's what Heavenly Father wants you to be.